So some of you may or may not know this, but I've spent the last 2 months not going to the gym because of various reasons. Initially, I thought I wouldn't go to the gym because of exams or whatever, which I which I realized was probably a mistake, and I started going to the gym. But then 5 days after I started going to the gym again, I started working out again. I started recovering from not going to the gym. I got my ankle broken, as you can see. Sorry to put my foot in your face in the first like 20 seconds of the video, but yeah, I I got so I've spent the last 22 days, 3 weeks in my room just doing nothing, little to no physical activity aside from going to the kitchen to refill my water bottle, which even if that, and yeah, that's what I've spent all my time doing, and I just haven't been able to go to the gym. And you can see that I'm wearing a tank top today, and you can see how fucking skinny my arms are now. Obviously for a lot of guys, this isn't skinny. This is just regular arms, which like for average teenagers, I guess it is. For my own standards, as compared to how my arms, my whole body was relatively more muscular a couple of months ago, this feels horrible. I feel like I'm a branch. I feel like I've got fucking twig arms, and it feels like it's like the muscle is visible, but it's not even close to where I was a couple of months ago. And this morning it really fucked me up because I really didn't want to look at myself in the mirror. It's been like that for a couple of weeks now. It's like I just don't want to look at myself in the mirror because I just feel like even if I've gained like even half a kilogram of weight, just losing all that muscle is a problem. It just makes me look awful. Last night I was looking at myself in the mirror, and I thought I looked like what I was 15 to 18 months ago, which was it was a horrible feeling. I'll show you pictures on the screen right now of how I was back then, which like obviously I don't look like that right now, but it's just the shape of my body really resembled that, just the overall silhouette, and I felt like fucking trash. I felt horrible, and that's what kind of inspired me to make this video today. I've been feeling like shit this afternoon. I felt really good in the morning, got some work done. I ate food, had a bit of a carb crash, felt like shit, and I'm supposed to be like doing work right now or whatever, but it's been very difficult for me to do that. So I thought I'd just sit and make a video about what the struggles that I'm facing right now. And I had a few insights. This is like the third time I'm recording this. I spent the last 1 hour just recording this video. Now I have an actual framework in my head of what to say. So I want to give you that preface. It's just something I'm struggling with right now. Just not going to the gym, feeling very small, feeling like I'm gaining fat again. It doesn't feel good. But then I kind of related this concept to a guy I talked to recently, one of my friends. I'm not gonna name drop him. He is facing a lot of body dysmorphia. Now, for context, this guy is jacked. He is really shredded. Honestly, he has a great physique, but he hasn't gone to the gym in 7 months. And 7 months is a long time for not going to the gym. But he looks fantastic. He still has like a top 1% in terms of male Indian teenagers physique. Top 1% physique. He looks great. But to him, his self-worth right now is in the gutter because of that. Because he hasn't gone in 7 months. Not even because he lacks discipline or whatever. It's just been really difficult for him to go because he's had a lot of illnesses. He had COVID, he had a couple of colds, just virals that have been going around a lot recently. And I felt really bad for him, but then I thought, why is it that that he feels so crippled in his own self-worth, whereas I'm even though I'm struggling with a similar issue, like my self-worth is still pretty high. In fact, I feel like right now it's probably the highest it's ever been, despite the lack of muscle. Now, the the phenomenon that I'm going to describe here, I want to relate it to investments. A good portfolio. Now, a good investment portfolio, an ideal investment portfolio, isn't all hits, no misses. It's not just 5 hits out of 5 big hits, and you've become a millionaire. It's not that. I don't fully understand how investment works, so don't take what I'm saying too seriously. A good investment portfolio could have 20 total investments, and out of those 20, one or two are really good, 6 or 7 are pretty, are like all right, like they're decently good, and the rest might be just like mediocre, break even, whatever it is. But that's still a pretty good investment portfolio because you're making a pretty good net profit, right? And I feel like that's what self-worth is, because with self-worth, what I see, and I'll elaborate on this further, what I see with a lot of guys is that their self-worth is tied to their physique. And this is not me saying that you shouldn't go to the gym, you shouldn't build a great body, you shouldn't build an aesthetic physique. It's just that when all of your self-worth comes from being muscular and lean, when you lose some of that, it's like a tower of Jenga that comes crashing down. It's like all it takes is that 1 week of not going to the gym that turns into maybe a month, 7 months, like in my friend's case. The whole thing comes tumbling down. And in that situation, you think to yourself, how like I was like on cloud 9, like I was fucking jacked, I was getting all the pussy, and I was doing so well. How am I in the situation that I'm in right now? Well, let's rewind. A lot of guys that I've seen in this generation who get into the gym, get into fitness, get into working out because they've been either fat, skinny fat, just really skinny their whole lives up until a certain point. And this is something I really love about the current generation of teenagers, just male teenagers. We're all promoting gym culture and working out, but like it's I feel like it's being done the wrong way, in the sense that I don't see enough guys promoting doing good cardio. I don't see enough guys promoting doing deadlifts, just like leg exercises. Like what everyone does is just back, shoulders, chest, arms. That's it. It's like they've got chicken legs or whatever. And now, I would like to pay homage to the fact that I have really good leg genetics in the first place, but that's not the point. I still work my legs out like twice a week when I am going to the gym. Then there's the aspect of what I talked about. I'm getting a bit off track here, but what I meant to say with the portfolio example is that you don't put all your eggs into the fitness basket. You don't put all your eggs into one basket, into one investment, into fitness. You put your self-worth, all your eggs, your self-worth, into several different baskets. Now this includes, one of the baskets certainly could be fitness, it could be sports, it could be your relationships, your family, your friends, it could be your creativity, it could be your talents, it could be your business, it could be your ambition, it could be your academics. Just being good at school itself is such a big deal. and it's considered to be a big deal. I don't think it is a big deal on a personal level. That's where secure self-worth comes from, because like my friend, like me, if I've put all my eggs into the fitness basket for whatever reason, I just don't go to the gym for a month or two, I'm fucked. My self-worth comes crashing down. That leads to shit mental health. That leads to just bad self-worth, because I'm not going to the gym because of my mental health. I'm sitting at home and just sitting on my ass all day, feeling miserable for myself. It's a downward spiral. Now, how can you prevent that? I want to talk about how I can prevent that, but before that, I want to talk about why this happens. Let me take an example of just the average, 16 to 21-year-old who is going to the gym, Indian teenager, metropolitan city, whatever. Now I want to give a name to this archetype, and I'm going to give the name the guy who thinks he's an 8, right? Because when we're teenagers, when we're young, our just the social environment that we are in, the self-worth of ourselves comes from our looks and just how we are socially. So I'd say a lot of guys who just go to parties on a regular basis and they're jacked, they're good looking, they think they're an 8, right? And that's what society makes them think. That's what the culture they're in makes them think, their friends and whatnot. Now, this archetype of a guy, and I see this absolutely everywhere, and this isn't me saying that I'm above these people or whatnot, because they're really enjoying themselves and good for them. Now, the archetype of this guy isn't someone who is delaying gratification in every aspect of their life. This is a guy who has worked hard to go from being the social outcast of a guy to being pretty like jacked or whatnot, pretty like good looking, decent social environment in terms of having a lot of friends. Might not be the best quality of friends, having a lot of friends. This guy, from what I've seen, this guy goes to parties multiple times a week. So this is more than once a week. This guy probably plays a lot of video games. If not video games, watches TV shows, just whatever. You can replace that with anything. You have these two things, just parties and video games. You can replace them with whatever you want. Now let's break this down, right? Because this guy, he goes to the gym, but that's everything that he does productively. Like his grades might be average, or they might even be shit. His just work ethic might be really shit. It's just he's good at working out, he's trash at everything else, right? And this guy goes to parties, let's say, for the sake of the argument, once every week, right? So on the weekend, Saturday evening. And this guy also plays video games 5 days a week. Okay, let's say plays video games for an hour. Now that alone might not seem too bad, but when you account for what really occurs, which is that when you go to play video games for 1 hour in the evening, it's not just that 1 hour that you're taking up. It's the maybe, let's, for argument's sake, let's say the half an hour before that, but you're really anticipating it and all you can think of is doing that. So even if you're trying to do something productive, you're kind of thinking about playing the video game. And the half an hour after you're done playing the video game, where you're just still thinking about playing the video game. And most guys won't play for an hour, so they're probably playing for like 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 hours even. But for argument's sake, let's say 1 hour every day, 5 days a week. Okay, let's make it 2 hours, because like I said, 30 minutes at the start, 30 minutes at the end. So that's 10 hours a week, 52 days a week. That's 520 hours of just video games, right? Now, obviously, you won't be spending all of those. If you were to substitute video games with anything else, you wouldn't be spending all of those 520 hours, because like I said, a lot of times there's anticipation and you're still thinking about the activity after you're done with. But let me just keep going, and let's apply the same thing to going to a party, because the party might be 3 or 4 hours long, but you're not really, that's not all the time you spend. You spend a lot of time just thinking about the party, getting ready, just talking to people about it, going there, coming back, and then obviously if you've been drinking, if you've been out late, the next day you wake up late, maybe with a headache, and your productivity goes down the drain. You spend the whole day just trying to recover from the previous night. So that's about 36 hours gone. Say you've slept for 8 hours, let's make that 28. You multiply 28 by 52 weeks a year and you get, I've written it down here, 1,456 hours. So when you combine the video games and the partying, you get 2,000 hours. Now take a moment to think about this, like 2,000 hours every year. It is well known, just a general guideline, that if you spend 10,000 hours developing a skill, you become one of the best in the world at it. You become a very good specialist at it. You become top 5%, even top 1% if you're talented at that skill. If you spend 10,000 hours developing it. So you could spend your entire university life not doing those 2 hours of video games and that combined 28 hours of partying, and you would become immediately top 5%, top 1% at a skill. Think about how incredible that is, that power to do something and finding self-worth in that skill that you can apply into your career, right? Because then it wouldn't just be that skill that you've gotten good at, it wouldn't just be your talents, it would be social validation, it would be probably your relationships. You would have access to more resources that could help you find other things to boost your self-esteem, your self-worth. And it's really just for me it's just thinking about diversifying, right? Because even if it's not just your fitness, if you're working on your fitness and you're doing this other side thing, you're building up that skill, immediately you've opened up so many opportunities in life. You've opened up a world where you can sit and proudly say that, you know what, if I don't have my body, I have all of these skills, and with that skills I have a lot of this money which I can use to freeing up more time, freeing up more resources to develop more attributes, more things to find self-worth in. And basically what all of this means is that you really just have to find multiple things to get good at. Now, how and why does this really happen? Because I've kind of explained what it is, what the issue is, and now I'm going to get to the third part of this video, which is how and why this happens and how you can probably change it. So everyone, while starting a new habit, while discovering a new hobby, whether it's fitness, whether it's learning a new skill, I'm working on a separate video for this. I have it written down. It's something I've spent a lot of time thinking about. Give me a second. So I've spent a lot of time thinking about this thing called the barrier to entry theory, and I'm going to talk about this in a separate video. And the barrier to entry theory basically says that at the start of every single skill you try to learn, there is a barrier to entry, and that is discomfort. Discomfort of learning new things, of learning the fundamentals. The barrier to entry is figuring in fitness, for example, because it relates to the topic, is learning how to deadlift properly, learning the right form on bench presses, learning to even just show up at the gym, right? Because you're used to like just staying in your house the whole day. Going even like 3 times a week is extremely daunting. But for you, if you've been going to the gym for a while now, for me, it's not a big deal. Like I could probably go every single day. It's not a big deal for me. If obviously if I didn't have the leg injury, I could go every single day. And that's because I've gotten used to it. That's because I've broken the barrier of entry of learning the fundamentals, of learning how to do the toughest task, which is just showing up and whatnot. And this barrier to entry, it applies to every single thing you try to do. And this relates to self-worth, because again, self-worth comes from various aspects in life. There's, even if you want to improve things like your relationships first, you need to have difficult conversations with other people, with yourself, and take action to change those things. Once again, barrier to entry. Because after you break that barrier to entry, once you've been going out regularly, making new friends, once you've been having good conversations with your parents, with your family, with your siblings, whoever it is, after that it's just easy because you've turned it into a habit already, right? So the barrier of entry is turning the difficult aspect of things into an automation, something that you don't need to think about too much. And relating this to the overarching issue, it's just that guys like me who have gone through the problem of just being physically spurgs, just being spurgs. Like either you're really skinny, you're really fat, or you're skinny fat, which is worst of both worlds. Which is me. Still kind of am, but it's not the point of the video. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. The law of change states that change occurs when it is more difficult to stay where you are as opposed to taking action, right? And when you're really skinny fat, when you're really skinny, when you're really fat, and you're being made fun of, you feel extremely underconfident, it's probably less painful to take the pain of going to the gym than the pain of just being where you are, of being bullied. And this applies to everything. So basically what I see happening is that these guys who are going to parties all the time, they're getting all the social validation they need because the bar is so low. It's just the bar, the highest quality guy, the 10 out of 10 is just, the bar is so low for being an 8. You just have to be good looking, you just have to be jacked. That's all you really need. Just get into parties, get laid, whatnot. And so it becomes comfortable. You don't need the pain to motivate you anymore. You don't need the pain to change other aspects of your life. You don't need the pain to stop going to parties. I see this especially in university, because in university you don't have any responsibilities really. You just have to show up to class. Sure, you might get a couple of assignments per week, but it's nothing like working a 9 to 5 job, going to work 5 days a week. It's nothing like that. and most guys who go through this, from what I've heard from, I'm not sure if I've seen it yet, but what I can kind of expect is that a lot of these guys will go through the pain much later on in their lives, when it's kind of too late to change things, when it's kind of too late to realize that they probably should have put in the work to work on their business, to start working on delaying gratification in other areas, because they were delaying gratification in one area and it wasn't really delaying gratification anymore, because they were getting the benefits that their past self did, and they were still working on the benefits they were going to get later on anyway. So it's like, it's just, I could talk about this for a long time. I just don't want to go down that path. With me, the reason why my self-worth isn't tied to my physique, the reason why I was able to tell myself to put on the fucking tank top and deal with the way my body looks, the way my arms look, I was able to do that because my self-worth isn't in this. My self-worth comes from my own intelligence. It comes from my ability to be a creative person. It comes from my relationships with people, my relationships with my family, my just how mindful I am these days, the things I do like meditation, just all of the good things that I've put effort into doing comes from all of that. And I think the way that I've realized all of these things is because just a lot of things have hit me in quick succession throughout my life. You might not know this, but my mom passed away in 2015. It's been 8 years since then, and I feel like even though I might not directly have changed much, because I was like 10 years old at the time, 9-10 years old at the time, not much might have changed in that moment, but it really made me realize how important relationships are. I have a post-it note right here. It says, Memento Mori. We all die one day, and it's so important that we do the things that fulfill us most, and it's well documented by now that relationships with the people that we love are one of the things that matter to us the most. Like I mentioned with the building of skills thing, building up a certain skill would help you diversify your self-worth into other areas, like having positive relationships with other people, because now you've freed up the resources to do that, because you've been making money because of your skills, whatnot. For me, what it was that because I started valuing my relationships, I valued what my parents had to say, what my peers had to say, and I took their advice, and I became a more mindful person. I became someone who is focused. I'm trying to be focused at the very least. Someone who's trying to diversify their self-worth. And I feel like if you're someone who's been tying all their self-worth into one area, there's a trap that's just laid out there for you, and I've made you aware of this trap, and I want to make sure that you don't fall for it, because I know a hell of a lot of people that do fall for it, and it fucking hurts. Sometimes your leg gets stuck in that trap and you can't walk out of it. For some people, that trap, it's a bear trap, fucking clenches onto your leg and it stays there for the rest of your life. Well, maybe not the rest of your life, but for a while, until you get your shit together. This is I've explained that, like, why this happens. And I could sit here and tell you how to make sure that you really level up in all areas of your life as opposed to just one, how you can diversify. But honestly, I don't know the exact answer yet either, so I'm probably gonna just upload this video as much as I've recorded, 30 minutes or so, because I just don't want to ruin this recording, if I'm being honest, because I recorded twice before this and my throat is dry as shit and it's hurting. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say right now. Might make a part 2 on this. I probably will have I'll start working on the barrier to entry theory in a couple days time, just a few days until my exam is over. And I have a lot of shit planned. I'm gonna be officially putting out my coaching business soon. I'm gonna be publicly start talking about it, and I want to see where that goes. I want to try a bunch of different businesses. I have several months ahead of me. I have a few months ahead of me where I'm gonna be doing a lot of things, not just on this YouTube channel but on a personal basis. Just plans I have with certain people. I hope you're watching. If you're one of them, you know who you are. College, obviously, just people I want to meet, so many projects on my mind, and I'm just a couple more days and I'm gonna get to work on all of these things. I have them written down on the list here. Not this. Hopefully you can't see. And one last message I wanted to say before I end the video is that please hit me up, like text me, do whatever. I was originally gonna make a video on cold emails and just talking to people out of the blue, because this is a very important topic. It's just something else that I've written down, but I just want to leave a short message right now. I'll make a separate video on it later about networking, talking to people that you agree with, you have like-minded ambitions with. So if you related to anything that I said in this video, please let me know. If I will link my Instagram on my YouTube, and you can text me on there. I'm probably gonna have to make my account public soon, but yeah, please text me on there. And if you've made it this far, and just let me know what you thought of the video, and if we have any value to exchange, if we have any ideas to exchange, I'd love to do that with you. And yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna end it right here. Take care, go to the gym, go and do other things as well, and bye bye, love you.